Okay, Amara, you can go ahead and start recording now and we'll get started here. And if people show up a little bit later, Chen, you'll be able to let them in, right?
Okay.
I assume that's a yes.
Yes.
Okay, great. Awesome. Okay, well, welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. We can go to the front slide, Amara. I'm not seeing the slide. Oh, there we go. Perfect. Oh, there it is. Okay. All right. Well, thank you everybody for joining us this afternoon over your lunch hour. We're really excited to talk to you about the Sault Ste. Marie Home Energy Efficiency Financing Study Project. And we thank you for joining us at this noontime information session. Before we begin, I'd like to acknowledge with respect, though we are gathered virtually, I am speaking to you today from Robinson Huron Treaty Territory. And the land on which I am speaking to you from, and the majority of us are gathered, is the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe, known as Bowading. Bowading is home of Garden River First Nation, Batchewana First Nation, and the historic Sault Ste. Marie Métis Council. Now I believe we can begin in a good way. Next slide, please. So this afternoon, we're going to be talking about the Sault Ste. Marie Home Energy Efficiency Financing Study. Oops, Amara, we lost the screen there.
So sorry.
It says it's spotlighting me. I'm going to hit stop spotlighting me. There we go. It's back. Okay. So we're going to share a little bit of information with you all about this study and the impact that we hope it will have on home energy improvements and different ways to finance these types of home retrofits. We're going to learn a little bit more about your interest, our attendees, in completing home energy improvements. And we really hope with this study to understand how the city of Sault Ste. Marie can help homeowners overcome barriers to completing home energy efficiency improvements. Next slide, please. So like I said, but going into a little bit more detail here, this afternoon, we're going to understand why we are completing this study. We have some guests with us this afternoon who are going to talk to us a little bit about some of the incentive programs already in the market. When I say incentive, I mean home energy efficiency incentives. We'll dive into what is this study and how it relates to you, the homeowners, and what this program might include. We'll also dive into some of the details regarding the different ways that this study is going to explore financing, and we'll follow up with some next steps about the project and open it up for questions and answers. Next slide, please. So before we get going into the meat of this presentation, I wanted to take a moment to introduce the project team. For those who don't know me, my name is Emily Cormier. I am the Sustainability Coordinator at the City of Sault Ste. Marie. I am joined by Enerva Energy Solutions, a consulting firm out of Toronto, and team members with me today are Amara Kartik, Chen Yang Zhang, and Guru Kalyan Raman. I also am pleased to introduce our guest speakers. We have Nadia Carrier, Supervisor Energy Conservation from Enbridge, as well as Kieran O'Neill, an energy auditor with EnergyWise here in Sault Ste. Marie. Next slide, please. So why are we completing this home energy efficiency study? Next slide. So all of this really started with the development of the City of Sault Ste. Marie's Greenhouse Gas Emissions Reduction Plan. This plan was unanimously approved by City Council in December of 2020, and it really focuses on actions in 7 key sectors on how we can reduce our emissions as a community. There's a big focus on buildings and energy, both within the community and as the municipality as a corporation. We're looking at ways to reduce emissions from transportation and waste, as well as green space and opportunities in economic development and municipal leadership. We have a goal of reaching net zero emissions by 2050, and that's going to take a lot of efforts from not just the municipality, but the community as a whole. Next slide, please. So to provide you with a bit of background on this project, and this project again is really focusing on our home building stock in Sault Ste. Marie. Pardon me. Most of our homes in the Soo were built pre-1980, and over 50% of them are single detached homes. To meet our net zero target, most dwellings in Sault Ste. Marie, especially those built before 1980, will need to be retrofit to make them more energy efficient. And we're going to talk a little bit more later on in this presentation about some of the data and the analysis we've done that really reiterates this point. Space and water heating will also need to switch to low carbon sources or offset by looking at renewable energy opportunities. Oftentimes, when it comes to retrofitting your home or business, it can come with a very high upfront cost. So significant support is needed to incentivize and assist homeowners in undertaking retrofits. Next slide, please. So the objective of the project that we are working on is to develop a feasibility study on how we could go about developing a home retrofit financing solution in Sault Ste. Marie. And our consulting team will make a recommendation about the different type, what type of financing program would work best in our community. This study will look at local challenges and opportunities for home retrofits, doing a deep dive in understanding our building stock, an overview of all of the existing incentive programs on the market. As well, it will look at options and best practices from other communities, specifically in the north, but also in other northern climate countries. We're going to identify and map our neighborhoods for early adoption or pilot project potential, and we'll engage with local stakeholders like yourselves to determine our community's readiness and support for a program such as this. This study is going to evaluate 3 different financing programs, and we'll talk about what these mean later on in our presentation. Specifically, it's going to look at property assessed clean energy PACE local improvement charge programming, utility on bill financing, and third-party lending. And as I said, the study will make a recommendation on which one our community is best opt to pursue. We're also going to do some of the preliminary groundwork rather, on looking how we could go about administering a program such as this in our community. Next slide. All right, so without further ado, I'm going to introduce our first guest speaker, Nadia Courrier from Enbridge, and she's going to talk to us about some of the one program specifically that Enbridge has recently launched that's available to homeowners in Sault Ste. Marie. After that, I will introduce Kieran O'Neill, but Nadia, over to you.
Perfect, thank you, Emily. Head to the next slide. So as introduced, I'm Nadia Carrier. I'm the Supervisor of Energy Conservation at Enbridge, and today I'm here to talk to you about the Clean Home Heating Initiative. Next slide. So what is hybrid heating? So hybrid heating really consists of 3 major components. So you have your existing condensing natural gas furnace, an electric air source heat pump, and a smart controller. Now, we all know what our existing natural gas furnace does, but what does an electric air source heat pump do? So during the summer months, it moves heat from inside your home to outside your home. And during the spring, fall, and winter, it moves heat from outside your home to inside your home, effectively heating your home. And the smart controller, its role is really dictating which energy source to use at any given time. So it looks at natural gas and electricity rates and picks the system that's most economical. It looks at outdoor air temperature, because electric air source heat pumps are unable to completely heat your home in peak winter conditions. So it will run your natural gas furnace. And it also looks at the efficiency of the equipment itself. So taking all of these factors into place and using this type of hybrid system, you can reduce your GHG emissions by 30%. And in addition, with the dual fuel system, it provides energy cost resiliency as well as having the option to heat with both natural gas and electricity. Next slide. So how can I participate in this program? So Sault Ste. Marie was picked as part of a provincial program. There's 3 other communities, St. Catharines, Peterborough, and London, that are also part of this program. And Sault Ste. Marie has 250 units available. So how can you participate? We have a list of participating contractors who are trained in regards to our smart control system and the way to install it. And you can see the list there. So reaching out to them, understanding your eligibility. And if you are eligible and you do install a heat pump, you can get up to $4,500 in terms of incentives. And you should receive the incentive check within 6 to 10 weeks after installation. Note that there are certain eligibility requirements around the program, and I'm just going to name a few of them. So you have to own a home in the city of Sault Ste. Marie. You have to be an existing Enbridge gas customer. Your home has to be heated with a gas furnace. You also should be looking to replace or add an air conditioning unit, and your home has to have Wi-Fi for the smart controls. So really, those are the factors that we're looking at when we look for eligibility as part of this program. You can move to the next slide. And this is just a quick testimonial from our pilot in London. We had Sherry and Pat complete this and have a hybrid heating system installed within their home. I think it was sometime last year, and they're definitely very happy with their system. The resiliency, energy cost resiliency, and the ability to reduce your GHG emissions are great options as part of this program. And that's it for me.
Thanks, Nadia. So as you can see, this is just one example of an energy efficiency incentive program. And it's a really great program because Sault Ste. Marie is just one of 4 communities at present who have this available to them. So I might, in the essence of time, just continue on, but I'll pause for a quick moment. Does anybody have questions for Nadia regarding the hybrid heating program? Feel free to, and I probably should have said this earlier, you can type into the chat. So there's a bar in the center of your screen that looks like a little bubble with a tail on it. You can click that and type a question in there, or you can raise your hand and we will go ahead and unmute you. But does anybody have any questions for Nadia about the hybrid home heating program? Okay, seeing none, thank you, Nadia, and we will move over to our next speaker. Is it possible, Amara, to stop sharing your screen momentarily so we can just focus on Kieran? He doesn't have any slides. Excellent.
Oh, we have a question from Kimmy.
Oh, we do. We have a question. So stand by, Kieran. Nadia, there's one question. Does the hybrid system require a home with ductwork already installed?
Yes, it does. That is one of the requirements to install this sort of system. Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. Nadia will be with us for the entire presentation, so keep them coming, but we will go over to Kieran. So as I mentioned earlier, Kieran O'Neill is a local energy auditor here in Sault Ste. Marie area with EnergyWise, and he, in the spirit of continuing to talk about different types of energy efficiency programs, he's going to talk to us about one or two that he's quite familiar with. So without further ado, over to you, Kieran.
Thank you, Emily. I appreciate it. So as Emily mentioned, I'm an energy auditor in Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. I service Algoma, and much like myself, there's a number of different auditors across the country addressing greenhouse gas reduction targets and different programs that are available through local, municipal, provincial, and federal programs. So the programs specifically that are in Sault Ste. Marie at the moment, there's 3 of them or 4 of them now with the new Enbridge Hybrid Heat program. But the one more specifically that I'm going to mention is the Greener Homes Grant program through the federal government. So it's a fairly large fund that was released last year. The federal government says that it's going to last about five years or so. And there's a number of different things that it incentivizes. Just as an example, like attic insulation, exterior wall insulation, foundation insulation, air sealing, windows and doors. There's ground source heat pumps, air source heat pumps, domestic hot water heat pumps, solar PV, and then some resiliency measures around thermostats and batteries, foundation, moisture proofing, that sort of stuff. So there's a number of different things where there is rebates available. Now, there's also, and this is for limited time, a $40,000, up to a $40,000 loan available through the federal Greener Homes Grant Program. Now, in order to capture any of these rebates or access any of these this potential financing or loans, yeah, an energy audit must be completed first. So that's really the first step in contacting an energy auditor or discussing potential retrofits with a contractor and connecting with a local energy auditor so that you can get yourself involved in these programs. It's important that you not pursue anything until after you get the energy audit done. So that energy audit is really important to get yourself involved in the program first and get access to any to get access to the loan as well. That needs to be secured before anything is pursued. It's, you know, I have seen considerable uptake in terms of the heat pump realm. Obviously, the hybrid heat pump program has kind of hurt my numbers a little, but that's fine. You know, I understand what Enbridge is trying to do, and the hope is, you know, in some way it's combined in the future and we can all kind of take advantage of this. I think it's a broader, bigger scope perspective that Enbridge has here with these hybrid heat pumps. There's a lot of people that are involved in investing in ductless air source heat pump units. Now, my understanding is that there's a vast majority of people that live in the city that are on electric baseboard, that have boilers, that don't necessarily have natural gas furnaces. That, you know, air source heat pumps, the ductless air source heat pumps, are a great solution for them. So, you know, there's a number of different things out there, and, you know, feel free to reach out to myself or Emily if you want to get yourself involved. And the hope is that the things that we've learned through this program and the financing and, you know, potentially the things that Enbridge is doing in the future, and the way this is evolving will evolve into something that we can kind of turn to the positive and help reduce Algoma, Sault Ste. Marie's greenhouse gas footprint on the whole.
Thanks so much, Kieran. So there you have it, folks. You've got a great overview on the Canada Greener Homes Grant and an outlook on what the Canada Greener Homes loan is. We don't have a ton of time today to go into all of this, as well as Enbridge's hybrid heat pump program. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a link here in the chat, and it is to the City of Sault Ste. Marie. We have a web page on our website that lists, to the best of our ability, all of the different incentive programs available to residents in Sault Ste. Marie in the province of Ontario. So these aren't just residential incentive programs. There's also some commercial incentive programs on there if you're a business owner, etc. But what we're trying to do here with this financing feasibility study is to look at the possibility of creating a homegrown home retrofit financing program. So thank you, Nadia. Thank you, Kieran. If there's any questions for Kieran, please put those into the chat now or raise your hand and we'll unmute you. Otherwise, we'll continue with our presentation. So any questions for Kieran? Okay, seeing none, Amara, I'll ask you to go ahead and share your screen. And what I might actually do before I keep going is Nadia and Kieran, if you're able to put in your contact information if you're willing. If not, people reach out to me and I'll connect you to the appropriate people, be it Kieran or Enbridge. Okay, so without further ado, we're going to dive into continuing our presentation to what exactly is this home efficiency financing study about. Next slide, please. So the real nuts and bolts of this is home efficiency financing is going to look for ways to finance upgrades, energy upgrades specifically, in existing homes in Sault Ste. Marie. The program that we are doing a study on right now will encourage homeowners to upgrade to reduce their energy consumption and costs, as well as lower their greenhouse gas emissions. There are many positive benefits that can come from this. For example, economic development and job creation. by using local contractors within our community to complete these home upgrades, we will circulate more money in our community as opposed to just having to spend it on more energy. We will also look at ways to address energy poverty and social equity. So these programs can be designed to target low-income homeowners and also offer them an opportunity to lower their energy bills. And this is very important in places like Sault Ste. Marie, where we have still very long and cold winters. The program will look at neighborhood revitalization options, so programs can be tailored to focus on improving the health and vitality of specific neighborhoods. And it also brings forward benefits of public health. In retrofitted homes, we have better comfort and indoor air quality. I'm now going to turn the presentation over to my colleague Amara, who will do a bit of a deeper dive into what home efficiency financing looks like and some of the benefits. Amara?
Thank you, Emily. So we've heard why we're doing a home energy efficiency study and some of the current programs in the market. So now I will be discussing in more detail what this study is about and what it entails. So if we're looking at the current market structure, specifically pertaining to the home renovation market, we can see it can be very fragmented, meaning homeowners like yourself generally must contact and communicate with each specific individual tradesperson, depending on your wants and needs. Or if you choose to, you can complete a do-it-yourself renovation. We do know during COVID that there was a strong renovation market with a large uptake in the DIY space. Most of this was financed through personal savings. However, as we are seeing a shift and potential challenges arising from increasing interest rates, there are other financial options such as loans, credit cards, home equity, to name a few, as well as government incentives and low-cost loans that are available. For this study, there will be a focus on the government incentives and low-cost loans that fit the home retrofit renovation market. We're going to switch gears into the background of this study. So to get an understanding of Sault Ste. Marie's residential housing, we examined the housing characteristics that made up your community. Our data included sources from MPACT, which is Municipal Property Assessment Corporation, Natural Resources Canada, PUC, and Enbridge. So we have used this data to model our findings and found that there is a large percentage of homes in the Sault Ste. Marie community that are built pre-1975. So the sections depicted on the pie chart are actually related to the major changes in the Ontario Building Code. On the right-hand side, it shows the other pie chart, which shows the type of residential building structure, which is dominated primarily by single detached family homes. So this graph is showing the average home size in Sault Ste. Marie, which we can see has increased with the years. Before the 1950s, there are smaller homes in the community, and since then, there has been an upward trend in newer homes per square footage. It should also be noted that this trend is also widely observed across Canada. Similar to the trend shown before, this graph shows the average home assessed value based on the year the home was built. So this graph is modeled off of data from MPACT, and as expected, newer homes have the highest value. The reason being newer homes are larger as well as they have depreciated less. We then looked at the energy intensity of the community. Energy intensity means the amount of energy used for a specific output. So in this case, it is the amount of energy used per built area of homes in a specific year. We can see from the graph that there is a uniform decrease in the energy intensity as it relates to age. So that is, the older homes use significantly more energy per meter square of built area than newer homes, with the oldest homes using twice as much or even more than that than newer homes. So what this basically means are newer homes are therefore more energy efficient due to the building code, while older homes consume more energy. This also presents an opportunity for Sault Ste. Marie to improve their energy efficiency in the community. So the higher energy intensity of homes can be related to different factors. This slide illustrates one of the effects of the changes in the building code in Sault Ste. Marie over the years. So insulation levels are measured in an R value. The R value describes how well a type of insulation can keep heat from leaving your home or from entering your home. So this table shows the minimum insulation level required by each era of the building code. With a higher R value, the better the insulating qualities. And based on this, we know that newer homes would have a higher R value than homes built in pre-1975. So we have given you some information about the background of the study and the housing stock and what we want to do, but now we want to shift it over to you and hear from you. The next 2 slides will be poll questions on your input of your average electricity costs and natural gas costs. It should pop up on your screen, but if not, it should also be available in the chat on the right. And in the event that it does not work, you can always leave your answer in the chat box, which my colleague Jen is monitoring.
So just to be clear, it's in the right. It should show up in the meeting chat. So you can go ahead and click your selection and then make sure you submit vote. There's 4 options on how much you spend on electricity a year. If you don't know 100%, give us your best guess. And we'll leave this open for a few more moments.
Okay.
Okay.
And we're going to switch to the next question, which is based on your natural gas.
Excellent. So go ahead and put in your best guess for how much you spend on natural gas a year. Again, there's 4 options. Make sure you submit your vote, and it's in the right-hand side, popping up in the meeting chat.
Okay. Well, thank you for participating and also for that insightful input. Now we'll be jumping into the program concept. So what might this program include? So there are some key principles which this program is set upon. It includes flexibility to homeowners, the affordability to consider possible financial constraints, viability to help reduce energy use, the integration with other existing programs, as well as ensuring that they are easy to participate in. So this picture illustrates the range of possible upgrades that could be available. This study will examine and include the potential and relevant retrofit upgrades for the Sault Ste. Marie market. And the program could include financing for home upgrades such as air tightening, attic insulation, high performance windows, energy efficient appliances, just to name a few. And the potential package upgrade for the program concept could include an a la carte style approach, which allows homeowners to select a type of energy upgrade that they are interested in, or a pre-packaged bundle. So the pre-packaged bundle will be a pre-selected list of upgrades based on the level you choose. So as an example, a light upgrade package could include a base package containing attic and basement insulation, as well as a high efficiency furnace. Whereas if you choose to level up or go to a deep upgrade, it could include the base package in addition to other additional items such as window replacements and a tankless water heater. As I said, this is just an example of what the packages could look like. So that summarizes the background of the program and potentially what the program may include. I'm now going to pass it back to Emily to discuss the financial aspects. Emily?
Thanks, Samara. Okay, next slide, please. So as I mentioned earlier, we are in the very first part of this project. We're doing the feasibility study and we're doing some energy modeling to understand, where are the opportunities within our housing stock, and we're doing some analysis and consultations with the community to really gauge interest in a program like this. But the core of this study is to evaluate 3 different types of home energy efficiency financing options and determine which is the best the best option for our community of Sault Ste. Marie. So the three financing options include local improvement charges, utility on bill repayment, and direct lending from financial institutions. I'm now going to go into a little bit more detail on all three of these. Next slide, please. So the first option that we're going to look at is what is referred to as an LIC, or local improvement charge. So local improvement charges are charges that the city attaches to a property to recoup the costs of an improvement that was made for the benefits of that property. Traditionally, you see these types of LIC charges being used to fund projects such as sidewalks, so sidewalk repair or speed bumps. However, it can also be used for energy-related projects. An LIC is then paid back through property taxes over a set period of time. So it's tied specifically to the property. Examples of this are popping up all over Canada. There is a very successful LIC model being used in the city of Halifax. There's the Toronto Home Energy Loan Program as well. Recently, the city of Ottawa launched one as well. Next slide, please. The second option that we're going to look at in this study is referred to as on-bill repayment financing. So this allows for the cost of a home energy upgrade to be repaid via the homeowner's utility bill. This type of program requires the close participation of a utility, typically gas or electric company. So an example of this is taking place in Canada with the city of Nelson in British Columbia. Next slide. So the third and final option that we are going to be exploring in this study is referred to as direct lending. And so this occurs when a municipality works with a bank or a local credit union or a credit union in general to provide homeowners with a loan to undertake a home energy improvement, and they will work with you to set up a repayment schedule. Similarly to the LIC model, direct lending is popping up around Canada, and there's a great example here in Ontario in Durham region underway right now. Next slide. So we've really taken some time to talk about, what we're going to be looking at in this study. We aren't going into the weeds by any means, but we wanted to touch upon some of the key components that we'll be looking at and the benefits that this type of a homegrown retrofit program could do for Sault Ste. Marie. So we started this project in late summer, where we really started doing some of that energy modeling analysis of our existing building stock. We're knee deep now into our stakeholder engagement and knowledge sharing, such as through this workshop today. And the next stage and final stage of this project will be to do a deeper dive into the home retrofit financing options that I spoke to you about and determine which one would really be the best fit for our community. So this project will be wrapping up in the spring of next year. Next slide, please. So that wraps up our session for this afternoon. If you have any questions, please reach out to me. As I said, I'm the sustainability coordinator at the city, and my email and phone number are on the screen. But I'd also like to take a moment to remind those who are attending the webinar today, if you have not already filled out our survey, we have a residential survey that's been live for about a week and a half now, and we're hoping to get as many insights as we can to really substantiate the core of this project. The link is on the screen, but I've just put it here into the chat. You can fill it out at your convenience. It's a little lengthy, but we're hoping we can sweeten that for you. And if you fill it out, we will enter your name into a draw to win a $50 gift card to Peace Restaurant. So with that, I am going to move over to any questions that we might have for our presentation. Like I said earlier, if you have a question, feel free to put it in the chat. And if you'd prefer to speak, please click on the little icon that looks like a hand, and we will go ahead and unmute you. Lots of information was shared today, so I'm sure it's a bit of an information overload. We will be posting a recording of this webinar on the city's YouTube channel for anyone that you think this might be useful for, or anyone who maybe missed it. Oh, I see. That's the contractor. Thank you, Ross. I sent the wrong link. So we actually have 2 surveys out right now. We have a survey for contractors, and we also have a survey for the greater community. My apologies. So if you are a contractor, please fill out that first link. And if you're a resident or a homeowner, please fill out the second link. No gift card for contractors, just for the residents, because this is really tailored toward our homeowners in Sault Ste. Marie. Thanks for catching that, Ross. So again, are there any questions for myself or the INERVA team regarding this exciting project? So I'm not seeing any. What I'll do is I'll also put in my email here in case anybody has questions. Please feel free to email me. Very good. Yeah, I'm looking forward. Thanks, Claudia. I'm looking forward to seeing the final study as well. We will be presenting it to council, so stay tuned. I will maybe highlight for the sake of it, this is just stage 1 of this project, providing, we have support, etc. We hope to move forward with a program design phase and then hopefully the implementation phase. Like I mentioned when I was explaining the different types of financing options, these types of programs are popping up all over Canada, and they're actually even popping up in the United States as well. The real core of this project is to help meet our net zero emission target. And any type of initiative or program like this adds to our greater goal as a community. So I'm really excited to see what it looks like. So if there aren't any further questions, I will thank everyone for their time and their attendance this afternoon. And we will go ahead and wish you all a great rest of your day. Thank you so much for your time. Amara, I think you can stop recording.
Thanks, Emily.